Hi everybody, welcome to this channel. If you found this channel, maybe you found this channel because of its ex-JW, ex-Jehovah's Witness tags, and that is what this channel is primarily focused on. I am an energy healer and holistic therapist, so maybe you have stumbled across this channel because of some of the holistic therapy content that is on it as well. But you can find most of my holistic thoughts and wisdom and EFT videos and content like that that's general you can find on my Indigo Sky Holistic page. This channel here is for me to share my post-Jehovah's Witness experiences, my ex-Jehovah's Witness experiences, and to share insights and thoughts and feelings around being an former member of a religious fundamentalist group, some thoughts and feelings over fundamentalist Christianity, religious trauma, religious experiences, religious dogma and its controlling aspects for humanity, why it's held us in fear and scarcity and held us back from our true potential as amazing, incredible, supernatural human beings that are here to, we're here to tap into our full potential, and yet a lot of the reasons why we don't is actually down to religious scenarios, stories, corruption, dogma, and in my case, fundamentalist Christianity. This video is to say hi and welcome to my channel. I have been, this YouTube channel has seen many iterations, is that the right word? As I have been in holistic therapy services for 5 years now, and this is where I shared that side of things. But this is an old YouTube channel that I've had since I joined YouTube. I don't know, go and look on the about, it's like 2007 or so. How old is YouTube now? Wow, old. And I wanted to, I felt this year to start afresh with my holistic therapy channel, my holistic services, with a channel for that, because I am an intuitive, I am a psychic, I am a channel and a wisdom guide, and this channel felt like it was much more, because on this channel I watch a lot of the ex-JW content. My newsfeed on this channel was full of ex-JW, ex-Jehovah's Witness videos, and I was like, no, this channel's much better suited for keeping that content here. And on this channel you'll find my EFT for ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, because we have a particular unique blend of thoughts and feelings that we have unravelled in our journey out of fundamentalist Christianity, cult mindset, some of the unique, even to Jehovah's Witnesses, thought contamination that goes on, and this channel seemed like the best place to keep all of that. So on this channel you will find a video which I'll link here to my story that I shared in, I think it was 2020 or 2021, as I left my stories as I was coming out of the kind of shell that we hide in when we have been particularly, I think, if you brought up as a Jehovah's Witness, which I was, because of the fear that's instilled into us about not speaking out and about being struck down by God if we leave, and all of the conditioning that goes along with that. And yeah, you'll find that story which I shared on the winter solstice in, I think it was 2020 or 2021. It was a powerful solstice alignment, and it felt the right time to share my story really openly. There are still reasons why I hold back a little. My dad is 89 and still classes himself as a Jehovah's Witness, and I'm always a little bit concerned because I absolutely adore my dad, and I'm his as his daughter, it feels like there's some part of me who wants to protect him from how people would view him and treat him if I spoke out too much. Again, I will share more on thoughts and feelings around that, how they mark us, label us, treat us as I don't even know if there's a word for it. The way that we're treated and shunned when you leave and choose to speak out about it. You're basically called the spawn of Satan, influenced by the devil who's got it in for bringing down the Jehovah's Witnesses. Some of the reasoning for that you'll find in that video if you watch it, how they think they're the only inspired by God religion. But on this channel as well, over time I think I'm going to share some of the spiritual wisdom that they don't look into and refuse to accept because it predates the Bible as we know it, the canonical Bible. And for me, one of the things that they taught me, so there's lots of things that they taught me, which I love and use and adore and I'm grateful for. And one of those things was studying scripture and the Bible, but they, like they accuse so many others of, they hold by their translation of the Bible and they refuse to accept anything that isn't in the Bible canon. And if you know anything or have looked into anything about the Bible canon and how that was formulated in the 4th century, well, they totally dismissed spiritual texts that had been valued by the 1st century people who call themselves Christians or the followers of the man who became known as Christ. And there are many then spiritual texts that predate even the Christian scriptures that they totally dismiss as well because they don't agree with, and this is the case for many Christians, they don't agree with the formulated path of Christianity. And those spiritual texts go back thousands of years. They discuss many things that then Christianity decided they didn't want to believe in, like reincarnation. Reincarnation predates Christianity as a belief, and more people believe in reincarnation around the world than believe in heaven and hell. And all of that is in these spiritual texts which predate the canonical Bible, but that doesn't fit with their narrative. And this is all part of the religious imprint that many of us hold in Christian countries, that's actually part of this Christian dogma that we're then holding. Even if you call yourself an atheist, even if you have no belief in God whatsoever, even if you're on my channel here watching this because of the ex-Jehovah's Witness content, you maybe are an atheist if you've left many people who leave fundamentalist Christian religions become atheists or have this there is no God, there's nothing out there. And that's understandable given the brainwashing and the conditioning of God striking you down if you leave that religion. If you can't reconcile within yourself that God wouldn't do that, because he wouldn't. If if what everyone's calling God was what they said, like a great being in the sky. I personally, myself, I don't believe that God is one singular, mighty, powerful entity up in the sky somewhere. I have a different belief, which I'll discuss through the course of videos. Yeah, people then decide that there's nothing, there is no God, this is it, this is what we've got, and that's totally understandable. I like to dig a little deeper. Like I said, for thousands of years, humanity, humans, people around the world have believed differently. They've believed in many gods. There could be reasons for this, which maybe I'll go into, around what became known as angels, or what became known as demons even, or what became known as gods, and what those actually were. But here, for now, I feel like it's time to share like my experiences, my thoughts and feelings, maybe to bring to a wider world like what it's like to be raised as a Jehovah's Witness. I was raised from birth as a Jehovah's Witness, so my conditionings I have around not being good enough, because if you're not a good little Jehovah's Witness, then you're a bad little Jehovah's Witness, or then you're worse because you're not a Jehovah's Witness and you're going to get struck down by God. Recurring theme here. And how I then processed and got through this thought, because I'd left the religion and truly don't want to be associated with it at all, because of some of the dark practices and things that it's come to light to me are happening and hidden, that if you go to them and go, look, this is happening in your religion, they turn around and go, no, it's not, or that's Satan trying to get in and, you know, leave it to God to sort out. And that doesn't really help the victims of things like child abuse that have been like totally dismissed and refused to be taken through legal channels for their abusers to be like face the judgment of the land for what they've done. When you speak to any of them about this, you're like, yeah, you're dismissed and taken to be speaking for Satan, infiltrating them that way. I don't intend to do on this channel any reaction videos to any of their content, because I point blank refuse to go onto their website and give their website any traffic whatsoever. I watch YouTubers to see what content they're putting out and then go, yeah, right, okay, that's rubbish. So you won't be seeing me reacting to any of their content here, but we're sharing my story and sharing my observations, and sharing, like I said, the many, many things that I appreciate that I learned from being there, from being raised there. The fact that I can talk to people, the fact that I have tools that I learned through the public speaking teaching that they give, that I can use when I'm here creating content and when I'm talking to people, when I get up on stage here, where my therapy room is, where I've done talks on things like human design or self-care practices, EFT. I can do that because of some of the things I learned in there. My love for study, my love for history, I got from being in there. So, and I know lots of people don't, and lots of people hate studying because of being forced to study, but history fascinates me, and that was one of my subjects that I loved at school even. And interestingly, like mythology and classical studies really, really interested me at school. All the mythological gods from Rome and Greece was like, wow, this is so fascinating. Like, what if this is real? Whilst also thinking like, oh my goodness, this is so like anti-Jehovah's Witnesses to me to be loving hearing about these gods and goddesses from ancient times. So yeah, welcome to my channel. I'm Davina. I am an ex-Jehovah's Witness. I'm a mum of 3, fortunately left before I had any of them. That's a whole story of being in itself. My husband is also formerly a Jehovah's Witness. He really left before me, in that the information that then like started to get into my head, he was privy to first. He watched and shared with me actually, and I was like, that's wrong. That's like, wow, how can you watch that stuff? And but it was being in the religion that held him back from committing into a marriage with me at the time. And it was only after we both left that we were then able to choose to live together and then eventually get married, and then we had our children. And yeah, I will share more of that story too. Maybe one day I'll let them come on and be interviewed as well, because it's quite an interesting story and scenario that we have been together since I was only 17, and we, despite the challenges and situations that we went through in the maybe, what was it, I think 13 years before we got married, was just quite interesting to navigate and sit through and be with, and stay together through in the end. So that's me. Welcome to this channel. If there's anything that you'd like to see me talk about or chat about or share about my journey, either as a Jehovah's Witness or on leaving, I would love to share that. I would love to have some ideas of what to talk about. In the meantime, it would be lovely if you wanted to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you feel called to do so, and I will see you with another little video chatting about my experiences sometime. I'll see you soon.